Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This DIY project that I'm going to share with you today is probably my favorite of all time. And it's a super sleek and modern table lamp. Everything that I'm going to be using is going to be linked in the description box, and I also wrote up a little blog post that's going to go in a little bit more depth in this video. So if you have any questions about any tools and materials I'm using, definitely check that out. And with that said, let's get into how to make it. So the first thing that you're going to need to do is find a base. I'm going to be using a block of wood that I already had from a previous project. So since there's already one hole at the top, I need another hole for the cord to pass through, and I need these holes to connect. So I took my speed square to make sure that I was lined up with the existing hole, and then I made a mark about an inch from the base. I used my drill press to drill into the block of wood, and once I did, I realized that the top hole wasn't deep enough for them to connect. So I went ahead and I drilled the top hole a little bit deeper. One thing to note on the top hole is you want to make sure it's just big enough to fit the pipe. You're going to want a very snug fit here because this is basically how the entire lamp is supported. You don't want a wobbly situation going on. Once there was light passing through the two holes, I cleaned it up and refinished it. The wood already had a dark brown stain on it, so I just wanted to refinish it and make it a little bit darker. And I ended up using a black gel stain that I already had on hand and then went over it with a clear satin top coat. Once the lamp was dry, we can start putting it together. To thread the cord through the two holes in the base, I first threaded a piece of ribbon through and then tied it to one end of the cord to give myself a little bit more leverage as I pulled it through. Once the initial part was through, the rest of the cord was super easy. And at this point, you can discard the ribbon. Then I passed the cord through the longer pipe and added on one of the end caps. Since these end caps have threaded holes, you have to be super careful here not to rush it, or else you're going to risk tearing and snagging the fabric cord cover. I decided to protect what was going to be the exposed cord of the lamp with a little bit of tape, but in hindsight, I wish I would have covered the entire cord that I was doing because it really just sped everything up. Getting the cord through the small end caps was by far the most time-consuming part. If you can't tell by my face, I was a little frustrated at times. And that's because it was such a tight fit. I definitely could have opted for a larger pipe just to give me a little bit more wiggle room, but I kind of love how sleek and simple and dainty this looks when it's finished. After I put the first end cap on, I put another one through and then added on the shorter pipe. Next, it's time to install the socket. The back part of the socket is threaded, so it actually screws directly onto the pipe. After I attached that, I wired the socket, matching the white wires with the silver screw and the black wire with the gold screw. If you've never wired anything, I highly suggest that you hire an electrician, grab your handy husband, or watch some YouTube videos to familiarize yourself with wiring. And after it was wired, just to be on the safe side, I cut back some of the fabric cord covering and took some electrical tape just to tape down any of the frayed edges. Then I put the socket back together. This is also where I removed the tape and screwed the end caps onto the pipe. Next, I used a rubber mallet to hammer down the longest pipe into the wood block until it felt nice and snug. Next, I attached the swivel mechanism. The swivel mechanism is probably the coolest part of this lamp. This is what makes it be able to be styled and manipulated in so many different ways. And it basically comes completely apart and has grooves for two pieces of pipe to fit in it. And once everything's in place, you can put it back together and tighten it up and you're good to go. Next, I just need to thread on the shade and secure it with one of the threaded washers. All right, and now comes the fun part. See if it actually works. It works! There you have it, a sleek and modern table lamp. Not only does this lamp look super expensive, it's also really customizable. The pipe comes in a lot of different finishes, so you can get something that really matches your aesthetic. Not to mention, there's so many different ways to style this lamp after it's configured. I hope that you guys liked this project. If you do, I would love to know your thoughts in the comments below, and give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more projects like this one. Until the next video, cheers!